In my office in Ottawa, I have a beautiful painting of a Canadian flag made by kids. People are really scared of Canada fighting back. I guess someone really, I guess. For our great and amazing, beautiful country, our country that needs us to be united, that needs every single person and every single supporter across the country. Important, and we are a free country. We're a free country, and one of the great things about our country is that people are free to express dissenting points of view. But what is not okay, what is not okay is to get in the way of others expressing their point of view and putting forward their position. Yeah, you know, I think come on, let's be respectful of democracy, and let's be respectful of the kids at this Boys and Girls Club. This is not okay. It is not okay to disrupt Canadian democracy. And I want to tell everyone, I am not afraid, and I'm not going to back down. It is not okay to stop others from speaking, right? Okay, glad we've established that. So, my name is Chrystia Freeland. And I am running to be leader of the Liberal Party and the next Prime Minister of Canada. As finance minister, I stabilized the economy. But as a party, we need to recognize that today, Canadians want and need us to relentlessly focus on one thing, the economy. And then there's Pierre Poilievre. You know what the real problem with Pierre Poilievre is? It's not that he's mean. We know that. It's not that he's a career politician. We know that. It's not that he doesn't have a plan. We know that too. The real problem with Pierre Poilievre, he is weak. He's afraid to fight back against people he admires. Sure, he's happy to dunk on the Liberals on Twitter, but he will never stand up to Donald Trump. And yes, as Deputy Prime Minister, I fought back against the Prime Minister when I knew the time had come to put our country first.
Good afternoon, Rafi Wujikani on CBC News. Could you explain why your difference of opinion with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau on the economy started when he wanted to change your job in cabinet? Why was this the catalyst for you to begin speaking out?
Because the difference didn't start then. For some time, I had been in disagreement with the Prime Minister, specifically over spending. Those disagreements got worse after President Trump threatened to impose 25% tariffs on our country. At that point, I realized that we faced what could be an existential threat, and I realized that we had to really focus all of our energies on being ready for that threat. We had to keep our fiscal firepower dry. I was very clear about that, and we saw the consequences.
Milene Kret from La Presse newspaper. I'd like to know, you have several deficit budgets under your belt as Minister of Finance. Are you committing today to returning Canada to fiscal balance in your first term?
It is important to me. It was one of the principal, really the principal reason for my disagreement at the end with the Prime Minister. Right now, and it was really important at the time because we needed to keep our firepower dry to be ready for the threat that President Trump poses. Now, we need to see what's going to happen. We need to be ready to stand up and to defend Canada from this threat. I know we can do it, and I know how to do it. We need to be strong. We need to be smart, and we need to be united, and that is something we can do. Thank you very much.
Hi, Ms. Freeland. Mackenzie Gray with Global News. Hoping you can answer this in both English and French. Folks close to you have told us that if you become PM, you plan to scrap the carbon tax and replace it with something else. But as early or as most recently as December 9th, you extolled the virtues of both the carbon tax and the rebate. So can you tell us over the past 41 days what has changed in your thinking that the carbon tax is not the right thing to go forward with?
Thanks for the question, Mackenzie. And the time has come for us as a government, as a country, to do two things. I think we all know we have to fight against climate change. We all get that. We need to do it for our kids. We need to do it for the planet. Liberals believe in that, and that is a fight that has to continue. But it is also the case that we need to get better at listening to Canadians and at listening to what Canadians are telling us. And we have heard very clearly from Canadians in provinces where there is a consumer-facing price on carbon that they don't like it. That's something that we have to listen to. Democracy means when people tell you something, you have to listen. And I will say, our party hasn't been good enough at that. That has to change, and I am going to change that.
We haven't seen this at any other campaign launch, not at Ms. Gould, not at Mr. Carney's. Why do you think you're being singled out by these protesters? And is there anything of substance that you can say to their concerns about the government's response to the war?
Thank you for the question. I do want to say I am really grateful that we live in a democracy. I am really grateful that we live in a country where everyone can express their view and where everyone has the right to protest. That is an amazing thing about Canada, and it's really important that people can disagree with each other and that everyone can state their view. It's also the case that the right to protest doesn't include the right to disrupt other people's right to speech. That is also essential about Canada. We cannot allow protest doesn't mean drowning out other people's voices. That is entirely unacceptable. That is not how Canadian democracy works. And I know that Canadians are not going to stand for that, and neither will I.